Alright guys, welcome to a new video. Today we're doing something a bit different on the art channel. We're gonna be reacting to another art channel. Crazy, right? Yeah. We're doing a reaction that YouTube recommended me. The thumbnail is also made by just before I get hated. YouTube recommended this idea. YouTube also recommended the thumbnail. So I'm just doing what YouTube is telling me to do. See if it gets me any views or it works out. I don't know. I'm just experimenting, see what you guys think as well. I'm reacting to an art style of the 90s. So the point of this video is going to be reacting to a tutorial on how to draw 90s style anime, which I think is a cool idea. So let's react to this video and see how it is and what you guys think of it and stuff like that. Also, I hope you guys like the thumbnail. It's what YouTube recommended me. I'm just trying out what YouTube recommendations work and see if they do. I want to try testing out this if it works out, you know. So hope YouTube recommendations work out. This is what YouTube recommended me to try out. And why not trying it out YouTube recommendations, see if it makes any difference or not. All right, let's get straight into the reaction. I've never heard of this channel before. It has 40. Let me just add so you guys can hear the audio. It has 49k views. So I don't know. I'm gonna pause the video here and there. Just tell my thoughts.
Welcome. It's me, Aaron the Artist. Today, I'm going to be doing another style study where I break down an
Never heard of him before, but he seems like a good dude so far.
artist style into all of its little parts, figure out how the style works, and then I'm going to try to draw my own character in that style. For this one, I wanted to take a look at a kind of 90s anime aesthetic. I've seen a lot of shows over the years with this very retro vibe to them, that have this sort of stereotypically anime look. Things like, Sailor Moon.
Honestly, 90s style looks really cool to me as well. I think it's a really cool style and like how it looks and stuff like that as well.
And things like that. Anime has moved on quite a bit since then in terms of style, but I still think it's a really interesting style to learn from. And to do it, we're going to be looking at an artist who draws that 90s anime aesthetic still today. And that's Hanna-Barbera. As far as I can tell, Hanna-Barbera is a team of two artists working together to draw modern characters and shows in that retro 90s style.
Bro, it looks so cool to me as well. Like, look how nice it looks, bro, Loki, with like the big eyes and stuff.
One of the coolest things I saw them do is this amazing Genshin Impact trailer in their own style. We're going to be looking at...
Okay, I'm taking everything I said back.
In three sections: anatomy and proportion, color and rendering, and special features. One of the most standout things about the Hanna-Barbera style comes in the anatomy and proportion. You can see right away here that there's a ton of simplification and stylizing going on all over these characters. But the most obvious places you see it are in their faces. First, look at the placement of the features on the face themselves. If I were to draw a normal Loomis head, you would expect the eyebrows to fall about 2/3 of the way up the face. But on Hanna-Barbera characters, you can see that it's much closer to halfway up, meaning that all of the facial features get sort of squished into the bottom half of the head, leaving much more forehead space.
Sorry guys.
This is a fairly common trait,
I think it looks really cool, honestly.
but I still thought it was worth mentioning. Next, notice how small most of the features are on the face. The ears, the nose, and the lips are all much smaller than you would expect in real life.
Very Solomon style, Loki.
But more than that, Hanna-Barbera uses some very specific shapes that are unique to the style. For noses, they tend to do this sort of stretched triangle shape, and then one of the most interesting parts is that the mouths always have strong, colourful lips. In a lot of modern anime, you typically won't see any indication of the lip colour at all, and sometimes you won't even see any lines showing where the lips would be. Third, notice how the eyebrows are still visible over the top of the hair. I figure that Hanna-Barbera does this because eyebrows are one of the key elements to showing how a character is feeling. Placing the eyebrows in different places and angles can completely change an expression. If you want your character
Loki, you can't even tell the that.
to be expressive, it can help to always
It's like you have to like actually look at it for a bit to actually tell the that.
show. And I figure that's why we always see the eyebrows even over the top of the hair in this style. Lastly, I want to take a minute to talk about what might be the most distinctive part of the 90s aesthetic that Hanna-Barbera is going for, and that's these very stereotypically anime eyes. I'm pretty sure that the kind of eyes you see in this style are what most
The iconic large eyes.
non-anime fans think of when they think of anime eyes. The absolutely massive size of the eyes compared to the rest of the face, and then this very flat look where everything has a sharp outline. Even the highlights inside the iris have an outline. This, together with how
They look really dull, like I don't know how to explain it, and I'm not a fan of it. I don't know. I like it, but I just don't like those.
the highlights we have, the size of the highlights, and all of the eyelashes sticking out at the edges, makes the eyes feel a little bit like stickers instead of actual eyes. Now,
That is a good point, to be fair. Not gonna lie.
don't
Okay.
get me wrong, I'm not trying to be negative about the style and saying that that's a bad thing. I actually think it's a
Now that I
really
think about it, I'm reacting to him reacting to someone else's art. That's kind of funny, isn't it?
important part of that 90s aesthetic to have those eyes. There's definitely a reason why all those how to draw anime books are filled with eyes like these, and that's because it really was a popular part of anime in the 90s.
I really like the shading they do in the 90s, Loki. It's so simple, but it's just really effective, if you know what I mean.
There are a bunch of small proportion tweaks. The ears are quite a bit lower than you would normally see them, and characters tend to have very thin waists and pointy chins. But these features are all much less noticeable than the others. Let's move on to the colouring and rendering. In terms of colours, Hanna-Barbera doesn't shy away from some pretty bold palettes. Sometimes it has this very sort of pop art look with all of the bold colours together. The main colour in a large number of Hanna-Barbera illustrations is a vibrant pink. You'll often see that in the background, and also giving a pretty distinctive look to the skin tones.
Yeah,
of
it
the
does.
characters.
It does look really Sailor Moon-esque looking with
Regardless of
the
what
colors and like the shiny little things.
colours are used though, you almost always get purplish shadows. I suspect that Hanna-Barbera achieves the shadows in their work by using a multiply layer and then a purplish tone to add all of the shadows to the entire illustration at once.
I really like how simple it seems, even though it's probably not.
Now, what you tend to get in terms of the style of the shading is all fairly simplified. There's just one shadow tone all over, applied using a cell shading technique. You don't see any fancy soft shadows, you don't see any subtle shifts in value or anything like that. There's one tone for the mid-tone and another tone for the shadows. And
So
that's it.
yeah, so as I said, it is pretty simple, but it just takes the time to get it right, I guess.
You quite often get a third tone for the highlights as well, but they only appear in the hair. Clothes and skin don't tend to get any highlights at all. It's just used to give the hair a kind of shiny finish. Notice something
Lucky, I would have liked it way more if it wasn't Genshin Impact. I'm not gonna lie.
now about Hanna-Barbera's cell shading as well. They try their best to keep all of the shadows connected together in a single shape. One tendency a lot of people have when they first get into cell shading is just trying to put little blocks of shading all over the place in different places. And you know what? If you look at a photograph of a real person, a lot of times shadows will fall into lots of little shapes all over the body. But if you do that with cell shading, it just looks messy. Cell shading isn't as easy as you might think, because effective cell shading has really carefully designed shadow shapes. And that's just the sort of thing that you see with Hanna-Barbera.
I think that like it's an effect. I'm guessing the like last part where it's like really old school looking esque picture vibe. I think. I could be wrong.
Alright, the last thing. There are a bunch of little flourishes that make the Hanna-Barbera style finished and polished. Things that don't so much fit into the other categories, but I still thought they were worth mentioning. These two things are more like finishing touches to be applied over the top of the drawing. Hanna-Barbera puts quite a bit of effort into making their illustrations look like they're screenshots from a 90s anime. And two specific things make the look work.
I think it looks really cool, honestly.
First, they overlay some noise over the top of the illustration. And second, they add chromatic aberration to add some interesting looking hue shifts all over the place.
So there is effects, that's what I wanted to say. But
the two effects together combined create the illusion of an anime shown on an old-fashioned 90s TV. These two effects are real easy to do. You don't want very much of either though, because that can just make your image look messy in the case of noise, and just weird in the case of chromatic aberration. To get that real finished anime screenshot look, Hanna-Barbera will quite often put some text at the bottom of the image, as if the anime is showing subtitles. So that can be a nice finishing touch if that's your thing.
it does look really cool. I might try out sometimes on one of my art pieces.
That covers just about everything I've got to say about the Hanna-Barbera style. So let's recap what we've said, while I try to draw my own character in the Hanna-Barbera style.
Also the eyes, like, because they're so big, it's like the first thing you look at. You tend to look at the drawing. You just look at the eyes straight away, like pointing straight at the eyes, because they're really appealing to watch as well, which is a cool thing about the style. Let's see how he does.
Okay, so to get things started, I decided to give myself a real challenge for this and draw an OC that looks quite different in design to a lot of the characters you normally see in the Hanna-Barbera style. And that character is my original character, Aliyah Dawn. You can see I've got to the left both some of the original sketches I made of Ali's design and a piece of Wednesday fan art from Hanna-Barbera. Hanna-Barbera drew Wednesday with that super serious expression, and I thought that would suit Ali perfectly. You can see I've got her hand raised up in a kind of pistol shape. That fits well with the rebellious kind of character that Ali is, and I noticed that in a lot of Hanna-Barbera illustrations, you see the hands doing some sort of emoting like this. In terms of the colours, Ali has bright blue hair and eyes. I tried to make it extra bright and saturated compared to usual, to get some of that bold colour palette from Hanna-Barbera. The shadow colours, of course, have to be that strong purplish hue, especially in the skin, and we want to try and group all of my shadows into a single continuous shape wherever we can.
I think it's really cool, honestly. I think it's really cool, and even his art turned out really good with it.
I just have to make a few tweaks to perfect things, getting the eyes slightly bigger, adding a little highlight across the jacket, stuff like that.
I like how many minor details it has, and then it ends up just looking really clean either way.
Let's take a closer look at some of those special features though before we wrap up. You can add both the distinctive noise and chromatic aberration I mentioned earlier in a very easy way if you use Procreate. First, make a copy
I don't, sadly.
of your character on a new layer. Then go into Adjustments, Chromatic Aberration, change the mode to Displace, and then drag your finger over the screen to apply this trippy effect. You want the effect to be ever so slight, just barely noticeable. You can adjust the transparency to make it even more subtle if you need to. To add the noise, add a new layer and fill it with a light color. Set the blending mode to multiply. Go into Adjustments, then Noise. Then drag across the screen until you get just barely visible levels of noise. Adjust the colors until you're happy. Let's add a simple abstract background behind and a few of those twinkly stars from the Wednesday image, and we're done with this.
I honestly think it turned out great.
Hanna-Barbera's backgrounds are quite intricate and will feature a whole bunch of different characters all interacting, but we're just going to focus on a single character here today. In any case, if this helped you out, do all of those things for me, and
Alright, but that's the video. Tell me guys what you think, if you guys enjoyed it or not. Also, I have a filter background because I don't want to get copyrighted. But yeah, hope you guys liked that reaction. I hope I said some good stuff here and there too, and I hope you liked his video. Please like and subscribe. I'll have his video in the comments, in the description, so you guys can just check out his video if you want to see there's that video. Also, I hope you guys don't mind that I'm using an AI reference thumbnail, because I'm trying out YouTube recommendations, see if it works out or something. I don't know, trying experimenting. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching this video. Pretty much cool art style. Might try here and there some stuff. I will if I figure out how to do it the same way he did the thing, I will make maybe a guide how to do it as well. And Clip Studio, Paint, why not? And yeah, and I hope you guys like the reaction. It's a bit out of nowhere, I know, but it is what it is. I hope you guys want, if you guys want more reactions where I react to more artists and art pieces and give my own thoughts and ideas, you guys can write it in the description, on the comments, I mean, and you guys can tell me what you guys think of it. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. I know it's kind of out of nowhere, but hope you guys like it too. And yeah, bye bye.